The asteroid belt was supposed to be my escape from humanity. No bosses, no co-workers, no neighbors. Just me, my mining rig, and the silent vastness of space. After 20 years working in crowded industrial plants on Earth, the isolation was exactly what I needed. I'd been out here for 8 months, extracting valuable minerals from the belt between Mars and Jupiter, accumulating enough credits to maybe buy a small station outpost and never have to talk to anyone again. Perfect. That's what I was thinking when the proximity alarm woke me at 300 hours. I groaned, rolling out of my bunk in the cramped living quarters of the lonely prospect. Yeah, I named my mining rig that on purpose. The alarm meant something was approaching, probably another independent miner straying too close to my claimed rocks. But when I checked the scanner, my blood ran cold. The signature wasn't human, wasn't any registered coalition vessel. The energy readings were off the charts, technology way beyond anything Earth or our alien allies possessed, and it was heading straight for my position. Shit, shit, shit. I scrambled to the cockpit, pulling up defensive systems that were laughably inadequate. My rig had basic shields designed to deflect micrometeorites, not whatever the hell this was. The vessel came into visual range, sleek, black, and absolutely massive compared to my small mining platform. It moved with impossible grace, making my clunky rig look like a flying toolbox in comparison. Then it just stopped, hovering 100 meters away, clearly scanning me. My comm crackled to life. "Human vessel, power down your systems and prepare to be boarded." The voice was female, young-sounding, but with an accent I couldn't place. Not any of the coalition species I'd encountered in spaceports. This is the Lonely Prospect. I'm a licensed independent miner. I haven't violated any coalition laws. I do not care about coalition laws. Power down or I will disable your ship permanently. There was something in her tone, not quite threat, more like desperation hiding behind bravado. Still, I wasn't stupid enough to ignore someone with a ship that could probably vaporize mine with a stray thought. I began the shutdown sequence. Okay, powering down, but can I ask what this is about? I'm just a miner. I don't have anything valuable except you have functioning food synthesizer, medical supplies, communication equipment. These are valuable, she paused. And you will give them to me now? Great space pirate. This was how I was going to die, robbed by some alien bandit in the middle of nowhere. The airlock hissed as her ship docked with mine. I waited in the cramped galley, hands visible, trying to look non-threatening. When the interior door opened, I got my first look at my would-be robber. She was a kid. Well, maybe not a kid. Hard to tell ages with aliens, but definitely young. She stood maybe 5'4", with pale green skin that had an almost translucent quality. Her hair was darker green, almost black, falling in tangled waves past her shoulders. Large eyes, purely black with no visible whites, dominated a delicate face that was gaunt with what looked like malnutrition. She wore some kind of bodysuit that had seen better days, torn, patched, and clearly sized for someone larger. And she was holding a weapon that hummed with energy, pointed directly at me with hands that trembled slightly. "Don't move," she said, trying to sound threatening, but up close I could see she was terrified. "I will shoot if you move." "Not moving, see?" I kept my hands up. "Look, kid, you want supplies? Take them. I'm not going to fight you." She blinked, a sideways blink that was distinctly alien. You surrender just like that." I'm a middle-aged human miner with no combat training and no death wish. You have a weapon and a ship that could turn mine into scrap. So yeah, I surrender, take what you need. She seemed confused by this response. The weapon lowered slightly. You are not going to try to overpower me to be hero. Do I look like hero material to you? A ghost of a smile crossed her face but vanished quickly. No, you look like tired old man. Wow, kicked while I'm being robbed, that's cold. I lowered my hand slowly. Can I at least know my mugger's name? I am not Mugger, I am Curlin of the Velnath. She said it like it should mean something. Sorry, kid, human here, that name doesn't ring any bells. Her face fell. Of course not, we were, my people. She stopped, seeming to struggle with emotions. It does not matter, show me your supplies, food synthesizer first. I led her to the small food synth in the galley. She immediately started examining it, her weapon tucked away, apparently deciding I wasn't a threat. Up close, I could see she was in worse shape than I'd thought. Painfully thin, dark circles under those alien eyes, movements that suggested barely controlled exhaustion. When's the last time you ate? I asked. That is not your concern. Humor me. When? She was quiet for a moment. 3 days, maybe 4. My ship's synthesizer failed. I have been trying to repair it, but... She touched the machine almost reverently. But I lack the parts. Jesus, you're starving. I moved to the control panel. Look, you want to rob me? Fine, but first let me make you something to eat. No, you will poison me or... Kid, if I wanted to hurt you, I'd have tried when you were distracted looking at the synthesizer. I'm just a guy who doesn't like seeing anyone starve, even space pirates threatening to shoot me. I started programming the synth. What can your species eat? Protein-based, carbon-based? She stared at me like I'd grown a second head. Why would you feed someone who is robbing you? Because you're clearly desperate, clearly hungry, and honestly, you're doing a terrible job at being threatening. You're what, 16, 17, whatever that is in your species years. I am 18 standard years, she protested, though the indignation kind of proved my point. Right, so teenager, alone in space, starving, broken ship. Acting tough but scared out of your mind. I finished programming and hot food appeared in the synth bay. Sit, eat, then we'll talk about you robbing me. Deal? Curlin looked between me and the food, some kind of protein stew that should be safe for most carbon-based species. Hunger won over caution. She grabbed the bowl and ate like someone who'd forgotten what food tasted like. I made myself coffee and sat across from her, watching as she demolished the first bowl and immediately got a second. Okay, I said after she'd slowed down enough to breathe between bites. Want to tell me what's really going on? Because you're not a pirate. Pirates don't shake when they hold weapons, and they don't look heartbroken when humans don't recognize their people's name. She set down the empty bowl and tears started streaming down her face, clear fluid that looked like water. My people are gone, all gone. The Velnath sovereignty no longer exists. She hiccuped. We were wiped out. Genocide. 3 years ago. My stomach dropped. I'm sorry, kid, I didn't know. No one knows, no one cares. We were small species, small territory. When the Krethmor invaded, no one helped. Coalition said it was internal matter and refused to intervene. Her voice was bitter. 18 billion Velnath existed. Now there are maybe few hundred scattered across galaxy, refugees, survivors, forgotten. And you're one of those survivors. She nodded. I escaped with my family. My mother, father, brother, we fled in salvaged ship, tried to reach coalition space to claim refugee status. But she stopped, fresh tears flowing. Ship was damaged, food systems failed, my parents gave me and my brother their rations, starved themselves so we could live. My mother died 2 months ago, my father 3 weeks ago, my brother. Her voice broke completely. My brother died yesterday, malnutrition and infection. Jesus Christ. I felt my own eyes getting wet. Kid, I'm so sorry. I am alone now, last of my family, maybe last Velnath in this sector. She looked at me with those black eyes. I did not want to threaten you, but I am desperate. My ship is failing. I have no credits, no resources, no way to repair it. So I became what I had to become, pirate, thief, whatever keeps me alive one more day. We sat in silence. Outside, the asteroid belt drifted by peacefully, completely indifferent to personal tragedies. Okay, I said finally. Plan, you're not robbing me. But I need. You're not robbing me because I'm giving you what you need. Food, medical supplies, parts to fix your ship. Whatever I have that can help. She stared at me. Why would you do this? Because you're a kid who lost everything. Because your story breaks my heart. Because, I paused. Because I came out here to be alone, to avoid people, to hide from the world. But apparently the universe decided I needed to remember that isolation isn't the same as peace. And that sometimes we're meant to help people even when it's inconvenient. I do not understand you. Join the club, I don't understand me either. I stood up. Come on, let's look at your ship and see what we can salvage. Over the next hours, we worked together assessing her vessel. It was in terrible shape, barely holding together, multiple system failures, life support operating at maybe 30% efficiency. The fact she'd kept it flying at all was a testament to either her skill or sheer stubbornness. This is fixable, I said, examining the food synthesizer. I have spare components that should work, and I can boost your power core with some of my mining equipment. Won't be perfect, but it'll keep you alive. You would give me your equipment, but then how will you mine? I'll manage. I've got redundant systems. You've got nothing. I started pulling parts from my storage. Besides, it's not like I'm using all this capacity. Turns out one grumpy human doesn't need much. As we worked, Curlin began to relax. She told me more about the Velnath, a peaceful species known for music and art, completely unprepared for the brutal invasion that destroyed them. About her family, her childhood on a world I'd never see because it no longer existed. About the guilt of surviving when so many hadn't. Sometimes I wonder why I keep going, she admitted while we welded a patch on her hull. Everyone I love is gone. My world is gone. What is point of surviving alone? I used to ask myself the same thing, I said. That's why I came out here. Figured if I was going to be alone, might as well be alone where I chose it. But you know what I realized? What? Being alone and giving up aren't the same thing. You're out here fighting to survive. That takes courage. That means you still have hope somewhere, even if you can't feel it right now. I do not feel hopeful. I feel exhausted. Yeah, that's what hope looks like sometimes, just being too stubborn to stop. She laughed, a sound like wind chimes. You are strange human. You're the third person to tell me that this year. Must be true. We worked through the day cycle and into the night. I taught her some repair techniques I'd learned over decades of maintaining mining equipment. She taught me Velnath songs, haunting melodies that made my chest ache with their beauty and sadness. Your people made beautiful music, I said after she finished one particularly moving piece. Made past tense, she looked away. No one remembers our music now. No one remembers we existed. I'll remember, and I'll make sure others know too. The Velnath existed. They created beauty. They mattered. She stared at me, tears streaming again. Why are you being so kind? Because someone should have been kind to you 3 years ago. Someone should have helped your people. Since they didn't, the least I can do is help you now. 3 days later, her ship was functional. Not perfect, but safe enough to reach the nearest coalition station. I'd loaded her with supplies, food, medicine, spare parts, and enough credits to survive for a few months. "This is too much," Curlin protested as I transferred the credits. "I cannot repay this." "Not asking you to repay it. I'm asking you to use it, get to safety, register as refugee, real refugee, with advocates who'll actually help. Find other Velnath survivors if you can, build something from what's left. I do not know if I am strong enough. You kept a dying ship flying for months while starving. You kept yourself alive through grief that would break most people. You're plenty strong." I put my hand on her shoulder. "And now you know at least one human who gives a damn. You're not alone anymore, kid." She hugged me suddenly, a tight embrace that surprised us both. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for seeing me as person, not just desperate thief. Thank you for caring when you had no reason to. Hey, you pointed a gun at me. That's basically a friendship in space terms." She laughed through her tears. "You are definitely strange human." We said our goodbyes, and I watched her ship limp away toward the inner system, moving steadily on repaired engines. My mining rig felt emptier than before, which was saying something. But it was a different kind of empty. Not the peaceful solitude I'd sought, but the hollow feeling of someone leaving after their presence had mattered. 6 months later, I received a message on a private channel. Curlin's face appeared on my comm screen, but she looked different, healthy, fed, happy. "Hello, Tom," she said, using my first name for the first time. "I wanted you to know I found them, 53 other Velnath survivors. We are forming community on Haven Station, small but growing, and we are teaching others our music, our culture, our history. The Velnath are not gone, not yet." My throat tightened. "That's amazing, kid. I'm proud of you. I would not have survived to find them without you, without your kindness when I had become creature I hated, thief, pirate, desperate thing." She smiled. "You saved more than my life. You saved my hope. You saved your own hope. I just bought you a sandwich and fixed your ship. You did more than that. You saw me when I felt invisible. You cared when no one else did." She paused. "We are having ceremony next month, remembering the lost, celebrating the survivors. Would you? Would you come? I would like my people to meet the human who helped me remember I was worth saving." I looked around my lonely mining rig, at the isolation I'd chosen, at the peace I'd thought I wanted. "Yeah," I said. "Yeah, I'll come." Because apparently my solitude had ended the moment a desperate alien girl appeared with a threat and a breaking heart. And somehow helping her had helped me too, had reminded me that humans aren't meant to be alone. That connection matters even when it's inconvenient. That sometimes the universe sends you exactly the person you need, even if they arrive pointing a weapon at you. My mining days weren't over, but they weren't the same anymore either. I had a friend now, a survivor. A kid who'd threatened to shoot me and ended up teaching me that isolation isn't peace. It's just slow forgetting of what makes life worth living. And I wasn't going to forget that again. The asteroid belt was still beautiful, still peaceful, still vast. But it wasn't lonely anymore. And that made all the difference.